I do think he still is a good quarterback. I do think the Jets are a legitimate contender with him. Maybe it is the way my brain is wired. And I'm not a Jets fan. I was raised a Browns fan. Maybe this has something to do with it. But you assume the worst will happen, but you hold out hope for the best. Do we really think the Jets are going to win the Super Bowl? Raise a hand. Go around the room. With a healthy 39-year-old Aaron Rodgers in his 19th season, do we think the New York Jets are going to win the Super Bowl? Something they have not been to nor won in 55 years next season. Chris Brockman, your thoughts?
I don't, but I do think there's a 5% chance.
Okay. Jay, your thoughts?
I do not.
TJ, your thoughts?
I doubt it.
Hit the button that says microphone.
I doubt it.
Okay. I doubt it. I don't think they have a huge shot, but I do respect them for trying. Like, why not? You owe your fan base to go all in. And the Packers have you over a barrel right now. Aaron swung all the leverage, whether he meant to or not, back to the Packers yesterday, because the way the contract is structured, they can sit on him. They can squat on him until September. And this might be a $60 million folly by Woody Johnson. But isn't that what you want as a fan? Like, what is your other option? You want to give up 13 in next year's number 1 for Lamar Jackson and hope the Ravens don't match the deal and make a $200 million commitment at a minimum? Now, he's younger. You could push back and say, yes, that's a better option. You might be right. You might be right. Maybe you should look at it. But right now, this is the option in front of you. A Hall of Fame quarterback, for whatever his motivation is, says, I want to come play for you. A team that has not made it to the Super Bowl in 55 years. Why not say yes? Your fans deserve it. They deserve it. So do it, Woody Johnson. I'm all in. It's the right move for your organization. It's the right move for your town. It's the right move for the back pages. Have you seen them today, by the way? New York Post. There it is. Jet set. Mav, Mr. Rodgers, Aaron, I want to be Gang Green's Top Gun. They cropped Goose out of the photo, clearly.
Love it.
The Daily News, much different approach. A graying Aaron Rodgers looking like he's been sleeping under a bridge. A real shot in the arm. They're going with vaccine humor. Woody Johnson, Johnson & Johnson. Johnson's Jets about to get big boost after Rodgers reveals intention to play for Gang Green.
Two different approaches.
Very different approaches?
I'm into both. I like both of them.
So you're with the vaccine humor.
I'm down with vaccine humor. He's brought that upon himself, whether you agree with him or don't. And then I like the Top Gun stuff. Also works.
What do we think of COVID MVPs? So for those, you might have missed this. Aaron throws in his subtle jabs. I don't mean vaccine. I mean jabs. Aaron Rodgers, because he likes to talk about his MVPs.
As he should. He's got four of them. He's got 4.
They're shiny trophies on the wall. I don't have 4. I don't have any.
I would be introduced as 4-time MVP everywhere I went if I was him.
Well, you know this. When you win a Super Bowl, I mean, that's one thing that they always remind you. You will now forever, as long as you live, be introduced as Super Bowl champion. Insert name here.
Did you watch The Bear? It's like they call each other Chef.
Yes. Yes, Chef. Great show, by the way, The Bear.
Great show.
Fantastic.
Into it.
And I don't mean Justin Fields. It's a show called The Bear. It's a Chicago. Italian beef. Italian beef, totally overrated. Italian beef, generally not good.
Not cocaine.
Not good.
The Bear.
Okay? But the show, very good. Where was I? Vaccine jabs. Right. Aaron Rodgers said, they drafted Jordan to replace me, which they did. Okay. And then I went out and I won 2 COVID MVPs. COVID MVPs.
What does he mean by that?
Not MVPs during COVID. Okay. The 2020 season, anyone that won or had success in the 2020 season, hats off to you. Because talk to anyone in the NFL. And I mean, I could just speak to it on the media side. We jumped through a lot of hoops. I work from home for 6 months. I'm very grateful for that. Thrilled. And I will forever be grateful that NFL Network put a camera in my home. But even when the season began and I was back in the studio, there were days where I was the only human at NFL Network. The only person in the building. All right? So the 2020 season was different. So credit to anyone that succeeded, including Aaron Rodgers during those times. But to call them COVID MVPs just felt, I don't know, off, different. I guess we can call them like the Lakers won a bubble championship. So call it, but we don't call it a COVID title. Do we? We call it a bubble.
Yeah, we call it the bubble. Because literally all the teams were in one location.
We're in a bubble.
Like, it wasn't like they had an NFL bubble where everyone went to Las Vegas and they played all the games.
No, but that idea was discussed. I mean, all ideas were discussed. I was shot down pretty quickly.
Right.
We talked about that in the postseason.
Sure. It didn't make logistical sense. But to just be like, what is he saying by when he calls him that? Like, is he kind of like, this was a joke and these seasons kind of didn't matter and I was MVP?
No, I think what he is saying, but at the same time taking a subtle jab at a lot of things here, right. Things that he has spoken openly about, whether you agree or disagree with him, that's not for here at the moment. I think he's trying to say that my MVP was more difficult, maybe. Because in 2020, when we had to jump through all those hoops, when we couldn't meet, when we had to do everything on Zoom, right? I was still awesome.
He was.
Yep, which he was. Look, go back to, as I said, any team that won in 2020. I'll take my favorite team as a kid, the Cleveland Browns. Kevin Stefanski, as a rookie head coach, came in and took that team to the playoffs for the first time since 1995. And not only did they do that, but with Stefanski locked in his own basement on the wild card round Sunday night on NBC with COVID, they won a playoff game on the road in Pittsburgh. So, yes, it was that much more difficult that year. It just sounded a bit off.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.